We're gonna dive into another deal story. Hey, I wish when I was a new real estate agent that somebody would have walked me through more deal stories, more negotiation tactics, better ways to do business as a tactical modern agent. Hey, in this video, we're gonna discuss multi-million-dollar deals and how to negotiate for your clients in the best manner possible. Stick around. Hey everyone, Logan Allen Williamson here. Hey, we are a little bit under the weather, as you can tell with the audio. The voice is a little bit shot, but you know what? The show goes on and we're dedicated to providing value. So here we are filming more valuable content for you to help grow and scale your business the modern way as a modern agent, moving into what is going to be called Real Estate 3.0. Now, if you don't already know me, I'm a full-time real estate agent. I'm dually licensed in Nevada, California, and potentially maybe Texas, moving here soon. But for the time being, my current real estate team spans 7 states and we are growing, not only in the intercontinental US, but internationally. If you have any questions about my trainings or what it may take to partner with me, if that could be a good fit, you can go to wolfpackagent.com, get on my calendar directly for a private one-on-one call, and we can discuss anything that I can potentially offer you to help you grow and scale your business. Now, moving forward, what I've noticed is that a ton of people are watching these videos, but not a lot of people are actually subscribing. If you're finding value in this content, if you'd like to continue to frequent this channel, I would encourage you to please hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, just give me a little like. It helps this channel reach a lot more agents just like you that are trying to grow and scale their business, and it would really help me out, so I'd appreciate that. If you feel so inclined, hit that little notification bell so you're notified every single time that I come out with new videos, which is multiple times per week. Now, in this video, what I want to get into are multiple 7-figure deals. There are so many agents in the industry, especially when I started to now, which is 6 years into the business, where there was the mentality that low-level deals between 2 and 500,000, between 500,000 and $1 million, and $1 million to 40 million, that these deals were different. I always had the mentality that these deals were very, very different. And then over time, I started to understand the business. I started to get intimately intelligent on the contracts and about the tactics of how to strategically write an offer and to be very, very competitive with the terms and to help my clients proceed through escrow, being very tactical with strategy with contracts. Now, I changed my mentality after listening to far too many real estate coaches thinking that multi-million-dollar deals are actually the same or just as easy as lower price range deals. Now, that may be the case. It depends on the clients. And the answer always is there's no white and black answer in this industry. Again, is it an art? Is it a science? Generally speaking, people that have a higher budget are a little bit easier to work with because they're not nickel and diming about simple things like inspection fees, like appraisal fees, you name it. However, my mentality has changed, and I want to go through a quick deal story with you. Recently, this past year, I've worked with multiple million-dollar clients, but there was a deal that happened recently, and it's just something that I want to share with you because it completely changed my entire perspective on multi-million-dollar deals. Now, without saying too much, this particular buyer is in the $1.5 to $2.6 million range. Just getting under contract with no other offers being on the table for this particular opportunity was a challenge in itself. And if you can take one thing away from this video, what I want you to take away is that generally speaking, being the best real estate agent that you can be, being tactical with your strategy, how you write contracts, how you write offers, it's just the ante to play the game. You have to be good enough to be able to write contracts strategically. However, all of that really goes out the window depending upon who you are against on the opposite side of the transaction. Now, there are different mentalities when it comes to contract negotiation. If you want to read a great book, you should read the book called Never Split the Difference. It's a wonderful book, but what you're going to find is that 99 out of 100 real estate deals are not high-level negotiation or not high-level pressure, like you're dealing with an FBI hostage or a hostage that you're negotiating with to try to get intel before you move into torture or anything. It's really not that high level. It's just not. Yes, maybe there are other offers on the table. You're negotiating a couple $1,000s here, a couple $1,000s there, negotiating a potential rent back or different terms inside of the contract. But you want it to be a win-win for everybody, and it's typically not as high level as you think. It's very, very elementary. Now, as you move up in price point, the mentality of all deals are the same, for me, it went out the window because I started to realize that negotiation is important at a certain price range, and it's dependent on a number of different things. The most important thing being the personalities of the people that are involved. So who's involved? You as the selling agent, presumably working with your buyer, the listing agent who's working for the seller, and then a slew of different people that may be involved, whether that's title and escrow, whether that be a third-party appraiser, whether that be a mortgage lender. There are a ton of people that can be involved, but the agents, the listing agent and the selling agent working together is going to be absolutely crucial. So for this particular deal, with no other offers being on the table, we're looking at a property that had been on the market for over 60 days, with the average days on market in this particular area being luxury, being a lot of these homes in a double gated type area with a huge HOA fee that covers a number of different things. Essentially, we were looking at a property that had sat on the market. So we're sitting here and we're going, okay, so what's the deal with that? Talk to the agent, go back and forth. And what I want you to understand as an agent is that more important than being absolutely surgical with your knowledge and understanding exactly how long from the contract being submitted or getting a ratified contract and opening escrow, exactly to the minute, how many hours and days you have until you can get the earnest money into escrow with maybe an out-of-town buyer who's wiring the money. You have to get an earnest money deposit receipt. Do we change the listing status in the MLS to pending before we actually get the earnest money deposit receipt? What does all that look like? Well, I will tell you that if you've been doing this business for long enough, you understand all of these answers. You know them intimately well. And one of the things that is almost a joke in this industry is how many agents do not get enough at-bats and who are very non-proficient, if you will, at the business. So somebody like myself that understands all these contract timelines, deadlines, requirements, when you have an agent that is your senior on the opposite side, especially in a price range that you are trying to work in more and more often, maybe this is an agent that has been in the business for 3+ decades who has worked over in these neighborhoods, it's never going to be in your best interest to puff your chest out and try to tell them how to do their job. Ever. And I found myself at the beginning of this deal, before even getting into contract, of going through certain contract details and basically explaining and coaching the way that things were supposed to play out. And what I received was a very negative response. I received an agent that was essentially shutting down on me and starting to basically slow communication. That's not what I want. I want somebody that is hyper communicative, that is hyper on my team in rapport to give me as much intel as I possibly can. Now, I learned a valuable lesson from this particular deal, getting under contract and moving into what is now an escrow. What we learned, yes, this one that was a high level, high white collar corporate rental for an investor who owned the property. We learned about all the renovations. We learned about the things that were permitted, some things that weren't permitted based on county records, which was undisclosed up front. I learned a ton, but I wouldn't have learned anything to help my buyer do their true due diligence had I not kept rapport with the listing agent. Now, it's going to be really, really hard for you. The longer you move into this business, the more and more tenured you get, to basically hold your temper if you have one, to conduct yourself as a poised, cool, calm, and collected professional, because when you have put thousands of hours into mastering your craft and you understand these contracts intimately well, you understand the moving parts and pieces, you know when there's an HOA question about whether or not a 19-foot-long camper van can be parked in a driveway for recreational use, commercial use, or if it can be stored. When you know exactly how to go and find the HOA director and the general manager on site, you know how to do all of these different things to help navigate your clients through contract, you're gonna find that it becomes a little bit more challenging through every transaction to deal with the opposite parties involved, to not want to coach them, quote unquote. I'm telling you right now, deals will fall apart in your lap if you fall out of rapport with the agent on the other side. Now, there are so many personalities involved between your client, between you and the listing agent. I'm gonna tell you, if at all possible, bite the bullet in most cases. Don't have to bend over backwards to tell somebody else the right, because at the end of the day, you are the fiduciary fighting for your client. But I will tell you that the higher and higher you get in price point, there are more complexities to these deals. Sometimes there's personal property that's involved at maybe included at no material value, such as boats, such as trailers, such as tractors, such as vehicles. Maybe there's a boathouse. There can be all sorts of different things that make these deals hard. Some people have tens of thousands of dollars worth of fixtures and chandeliers inside of their property. In this particular escrow, there are floors, hardwood floors, that are being completely redone throughout the escrow process. So we're looking at what could be now a double inspection, which is another curveball. All of these things come up, and I'll tell you, there are different personality types with your clients. If you have somebody that's very analytical and they're looking at every single line of a contract and they're basically asking you a ton of questions, you're gonna get good in those situations. But when you get good and you move into other deals, or potentially deals in a higher price range, just keep your calm, keep your cool, and know that that other agent, even though you are to an extent in a battle, it should be a win-win for everybody. And you just want to make sure that you stay in rapport, because at the end of the day, what you're going to need is information throughout the course of the process of getting your client from contract to close. And you need as much intel and as much good information as you can get, getting access to the property if it is owner occupied, or if there's a secondary lockbox like a contractor's lockbox, or if there's maintenance scheduled, like they're disconnecting stairway rails or they're disconnecting appliances due to plumbing when they're redoing floors that you need on throughout your inspection period. You need to be in rapport with the other agent. If there's one thing I want you to take away, it is stay in rapport with the other agent on the other side of the deal. It's going to be massively important for your success moving forward. Okay, now all of that being said, my name is Logan Allen Williamson. I'm a full-time real estate agent. I would love the opportunity to speak with you. I am moving into more and more of what is the luxury space, and I have a ton of tips, tricks, and strategies that I can share with you. If you have any questions related to this content, please comment below. Make sure that you like and subscribe, and I will talk to you here soon.